Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Checking in with temperatures here at 5:45 on this Tuesday morning. We've got a boundary kind of draped across the southern plains. We've got warm and unstable air across this region with severe storms across that area. We've also got a disturbance kind of swinging in from the northwest, and that's bringing a push of cooler air and dreary conditions across the Corn Belt right now. As we flip it over and look at the satellite picture, we can see this illustrated kind of along and south of this line. That's where you see the strobing lights there, the thunderstorms moving through the region, parts of the southern plains into the mid-south, even parts of southern Illinois seeing some thunderstorm activity overnight last night. As we flip it over and look at the radar over the last 12 hours or so, here are the severe storms traveling again through the southern plains into the Ohio River Valley parts of the mid-south. North of that, it's a dreary rain falling from the northern plains into the Ohio River Valley, parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, southern Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, waking up to a very gloomy Tuesday morning. Now, as we just look at the high-resolution NAM model, we can watch this disturbance making its way from northwest to southeast over the next 24 hours. Let's go ahead and bring it back to Tuesday morning. What we're looking at here today, again, this area of rain from the eastern Dakotas all the way down into the Ohio River Valley. And through this corridor, it will continue to be very cloudy and gloomy and chilly as we head through the day today. Really just a pretty yucky day through that corridor, for lack of better words. So let's head through the afternoon hours. We're getting into Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. right now. Same look. We've got this area of just kind of gloomy rain. South of that or west of that, we could see some showers popping up across the western Dakotas, maybe some more isolated downpours and heavier downpours in that region. As we head into the overnight and then on into Wednesday morning, we see this disturbance pulling away so that by the time we get to sunrise on Wednesday morning, maybe some light drizzle falling across portions of the Ohio River Valley. But much of the heavier measurable precipitation has moved on at this point. So let's head into the middle of the day Wednesday, into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. We're keeping things rather quiet across the Corn Belt. Across this region, parts of the Midwest here, the central Corn Belt, the mid-Mississippi Valley, as we get some sunshine in this area, some of the first sunshine we've seen over the last couple of days, we could get a little bit of weak instability, some high steep lapse rates, and that could lead to maybe some pop-up showers across this region. So a lot of sunshine for much of the day here in this circled corridor tomorrow. But the chances we get into the late afternoon and evening, we'd see those cumulus clouds increasing in coverage, and maybe some people get some a brief downpour over their heads through that corridor. So we'll head into Wednesday night, and then on to Thursday morning, we're going to start watching for our next disturbance to begin swinging out of the north, and we'll take a look at the overall jet stream pattern and understand that that is just the pattern that we're going to be enjoying or suffering through over the next 7 to 10 days is really a better way to put it. Let's look at the accumulated precipitation over the next 36 to 60 hours. This takes us all the way into Thursday afternoon. Again, you see the corridor that was just talked about. This is where we're going to see that gloomy next 30 to 36 hours. Part of the eastern Dakotas into southern Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, down into southern Indiana, parts of Kentucky. Really just a cool, dreary, gloomy, and rainy Tuesday and Wednesday across the region. Really Tuesday, and then that chance for some rain showers Wednesday. Okay, so let's step back. Let's look a little bit longer range. Eric really covered this in depth in yesterday's ag forecast video yesterday morning. If you haven't seen that, definitely go back and check it out. But let's kind of talk about it here in a shorter term context. And we're really talking about this trough setting up over the Hudson Bay, over the Northeast, over the Great Lakes, and kind of parking itself there. We're getting little lobes kind of rotating around that. It really establishes itself, and that leads to a flow pattern, something like this. We get this trough in the west, or a trough off the west coast. We get a ridge in the west, and then we get this trough in the east. And so over the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to be watching disturbances kind of riding this jet stream flow from the Canadian Prairie down into the northern plains and then swinging through the Ohio River Valley, bringing reinforcing shots of cool air, but then also opportunities for some light precipitation at times through this corridor. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at what happens with the temperatures. And again, we're just going to be seeing reinforcing shots of cooler air swinging in from the Arctic. Meanwhile, this ridge that builds in the Gulf of Alaska is going to allow a lot of warmth to slide up the west coast here from the southwest U.S. all the way into western Canada and then on into Alaska. So very stark temperature contrast as we head into the weekend and into early next week. One that features a lot of warmth being drawn in this direction and then a lot of cool air dominating the eastern two-thirds of the U.S., and that includes the entire Corn Belt. So looking at the 500 millibar vorticity plot, this is again going to show us kind of the trajectory that we'll be dealing with, watching these disturbances kind of swinging in from the Canadian Prairie one after another, bringing reinforcing shots and then opportunities for some light precipitation across the region. We'll kind of time out what this looks like right now, watching first the Tuesday storm system. This is again bringing that precipitation through this corridor during the day today, that cold, gloomy day. As we head through the afternoon tomorrow, remember we'll be watching for the chance for maybe a couple pop-up showers across this region Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Not looking at significant precipitation, but just don't be surprised with the lack of anything showing up here on the European model if you do see a few raindrops across that area on Wednesday afternoon and evening. It's just something the models aren't really going to pick up well on, or at least not one of this scale. So we'll head into Thursday. This is when the next really kind of more organized system swings in from the northern plains. This one brings a chance of precipitation here beginning on Thursday afternoon and evening across the high plains, parts of South Dakota into Nebraska, down toward the Kansas City area. And then by Thursday night, this moves through kind of areas along and south of this line, hitting Missouri, central and southern Illinois, down into Kentucky and Tennessee as we get into Friday morning. So this is going to bring a reinforcing shot of cool air. This is going to bring what I think might be the coolest shot of air, bringing the most widespread frost risk across the Great Lakes and part of the Corn Belt as we get into Friday night and Saturday morning. And then on the heels of that, another disturbance, rather moisture-starved, comes swinging through here Saturday night into Sunday, bringing the chance of some light precipitation to the Corn Belt, maybe even a few snowflakes across the Great Lakes, parts of Wisconsin and Michigan as we head into Sunday morning. So total precipitation between now and the end of the week. This takes us through midnight on Sunday. And again, you kind of see the corridor with fairly good agreement between both models here. The European model, kind of just this trajectory from the northern high plains into parts of the central and eastern Corn Belt, where we could pick up anywhere from half an inch to maybe an inch, maybe a local area picking up an inch and a half down toward the Ohio River Valley. But overall, it's really just going to be a cool, gloomy week with periodic, every 2 days or so, that chance for some light precipitation across the area. So unfortunately, just a first 10 days of May, or a first 10 to 12 days of May that really aren't going to be terribly conducive to work in the world of agriculture. So we'll flip it over and take one look here at the NOAA forecast for precipitation between now and Sunday night. And again, we see that same corridor kind of being highlighted well as we talk about the Corn Belt. A lot of folks seeing the opportunity for at least some light precipitation around half an inch or so. We'll finish with a look at high temperatures and lows over the next several days. Here's your high temperatures for the day today. Again, you can really overlay the area that we're seeing the cloud cover and the rain and see those temperatures in the upper 40s in many cases. So just a really, really unpleasant early May day. The coolest air shifts off to the east as we head into the day on Wednesday. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s continuing into the day on Thursday. We should see a lot of sunshine for many here Wednesday and Thursday. And then we head into Friday, getting that next push of cooler air. High temperatures very cool across the Great Lakes. High temperatures in the 40s and 50s. And then looking at a chilly day on Saturday as well for many. And this continues Sunday and Monday. Kind of this look here with highs really in the 50s and 60s for just about everyone in the Corn Belt as we head into early next week. Overnight lows waking up tomorrow morning with temperatures in the 30s and 40s across the region. A very similar look on Thursday and Friday morning. And then Saturday, this is the day I think that we really need to be watching out for across the Great Lakes, the Midwest, much of the Corn Belt. You can kind of draw a line here where we see those temperatures forecast to get below freezing. And you imagine it's something kind of like this. Of course, along and south of that, still have the option, or the option. You don't have the option. You have the possibility of dropping below freezing, but a fairly widespread area here, waking up on Saturday morning to temperatures sub-freezing, again with this late frost across the Corn Belt. As always, we'll be back tomorrow morning with our long-range U.S. weather analysis. On Thursday, we'll have our ag forecast covering a look at the next 1 to 2 weeks, and then on Friday morning, we'll be back to talk about the Corn Belt once again, checking back in on what looks like a very chilly first 10 days of May.